fact that sunny California is overcast with rain today, the heartfelt appreciation that we feel for the donors that are here being honored and our former students who are here being honored today is very, very sincere and will never be cloudy. So, thank you. This ceremony began in 1991 as part of the 20th anniversary celebration for Golden West College. So we have a real tradition going. And if you've walked around the campus and looked at the pillars with all of our plaques, it's very, very impressive. This year we're going to recognize 4 pillars of support, 5 outstanding alumni for their service and commitment to Golden West College. And their names will then be placed on our walls in the courtyard and throughout the campus. Before we begin the ceremony, I would like to recognize a few additional special guests. First of all, the Minster, sorry about that, City Council member Frank Fry. Frank, there we are. Is your wife with you, Frank? No, okay. Vanjie Schrock, City Manager. Vanjie, thank you for coming. Very nice to have you here for Westminster. Trustee of the Coast Community College District Board, Armando Reese. They're in the front. The Director of Public Affairs for the Coast Community College District, Aaron Cohn. Okay. President of Golden West College's Foundation, Judy Elmore, over here. The President of Patrons, a very important support group to Golden West College, Joanne Bum. Where'd she go? Up in the back. President of the Associated Students, Taryn Dickinson. Thank you all for coming. And now I'd like to turn the program over to Vice President of Instruction, Wes Bryan.
Thank you, Sharon. This is a special afternoon when Golden West College has the opportunity and the honor to show our appreciation to both our donors and our exemplary alumni. This year, we're honored to be inducting 4 pillars of support into the Courtyard of Honor. This category represents individuals or businesses that have given over $25,000 to Golden West College. In your program, you'll find information about each of these special donors. Our first pillar of support is to Bonnie Chanine Robinson's Memorial Tutoring Pillar. Bonnie Robinson was one of the first teachers to welcome me here as a new teacher. And the thing I remember most is that you could never be in a conversation with Bonnie Robinson and not leave with a happy heart, regardless of the topic. She was a kind and gentle and happy person. The pillar is located in the Humanities Building courtyard. Bonnie was a charter faculty member at Golden West College. Radford, Bonnie's husband, has asked Chuck Whitchurch, a good friend of the family and an English instructor at Golden West, to say a few words. Chuck?
Thank you, Wes. I do not remember being asked to say only a few words. And as a matter of fact, if you knew Bonnie, you know it wouldn't be an appropriate tribute if I were brief. So settle back. Many of you are close to her, and there are some of you here who didn't know her. So let me try anyway to tell you a little bit about a very special woman. As the plaque shows over in the courtyard, this is a woman who could inspire a tribute like the thoughtful gift Rad is giving in Bonnie's name. And it's one that will allow the English department to help this charter teacher's commitment shine here for many years. The plaque gives testimony to the essential fact. Bonnie was a terrific teacher. The tribute grows out of Rad's great love for Bonnie because he knows her. He knows how she loved this place and the work she did here. He saw her. The plaque tells us that Bonnie was selected as Outstanding Educator of America. No one here who knew her was surprised when we learned that. What made Bonnie a great teacher? Well, you know what Emerson says, we teach what we are. Bonnie was a person who cared enough to give generously of herself. But who was that self? Who was Bonnie Robinson? She was one of the kindest women I've ever known, so I wasn't surprised at all to hear Wes's comments. I know some of you are thinking, well, duh, everybody knows that. But if Bonnie heard that, she would say, oh, how kind of you to say that. Almost as if it weren't true, and then turn the compliment around to the person saying it. Robin Matthews was her student here. He really wanted to be here today, but he had to give a presentation elsewhere. He also worked in the library when he was a student, and then he came back to teach. He said that in all three of those roles that he was in, Bonnie treated him no differently. Always it was with the same kindness and respect. And that's what you hear over and over when you hear about Bonnie Robinson. Robin said, in 30 years at Golden West, no one has impressed me more, whether I was her student or I was teaching with her. As you know, her kindness wasn't because she was stupid and didn't know any better. Bonnie was sharp as a tack. She'd forgive me for that cliche. And she wore her Phi Beta Kappa key with pride. No, it wasn't as if Bonnie was blind to foibles. She just didn't make big things out of little things. She had neither time nor inclination to be petty. If she noticed a problem with a personality, she didn't become gossipy. Her instinct was to understand the person behind the problem. Yesterday, Barbara Dilworth, another instructor from years ago, said to me, Bonnie was one in which the spring of human kindness was deep and overflowing, ever-flowing, sorry. It's almost the same, isn't it? But Bonnie was no goody two-shoes. In fact, at the University of Colorado, she had been a cigarette-smoking, Ginsberg-quoting, all-black-wearing beatnik. Still, in all the decades I knew her, I can recall only one time seeing Bonnie react in anger. Now, maybe there's some people here who wouldn't want to hear about this, but I don't think Bonnie would mind if I shared it with you. Years ago, before some of you were born, we had a chair in the English department who was actually imperfect, unlike our present chair. This chair's policies were hampering our efforts. Now, the people who cared about teaching, and that was most of us, did the best we could to improve the situation. But it did no good, and some pretty dedicated instructors began pulling back from their extra duties. One day, talking to Bonnie, I was surprised to hear the disenchantment in her voice. She too had drawn back, deciding to focus only on her teaching. That stood out in my mind. I remember thinking, wow, even Bonnie is fed up. That told me the situation was dark indeed. But it said something more significant. Bonnie's change showed how passionately she cared about her profession. Her anger wasn't about her, it was about her teaching. That was being interfered with. And by the way, she was no passive-aggressive smoldering in solitude. She also told our chair exactly how she felt and said it forthrightly, only perhaps more kindly than I did. Well, over time, the situation did improve. Meanwhile, Bonnie never stopped giving her all to her students. Our mutual students told me she was a center of energy and enthusiasm in the classroom. Her students felt her love of literature, fine writing, and clear thinking. She was an inspiration to us all. Later, when arthritis crippled her ability to write comments on student papers, this non-tech nature lover, literature lover, didn't say, it's time to retire. She figured out a way to use the computer to allow her to keep going. And that's what she did as long as she could. Bonnie was the Energizer Bunny of paper grading. Her fellow teachers admired her as well for her competence as well as her kindness. She team taught an interdisciplinary course with Barbara Dilworth and Robin Matthews. It was called Contemporary Cultural Connections. The three of them referred to themselves as the tricycle. Robin and Barb, because that's Troika and so forth, Robin and Barb said they thought of Bonnie as the big wheel in front who keeps us all going, but they didn't tell her that because they figured she wouldn't agree. Listening to them reminisce, you can tell that teaching with Bonnie brought some pretty inspirational moments to their lives. In fact, they would all get together about twice a year just to talk about it. I used to marvel over the creative and detailed workbooks Bonnie used to make for her students. I didn't know where she found the time to do it. But maybe it wasn't really about time. She found the heart to do it. Speaking of heart, I would often send Bonnie some of the refugees from a semester with me, knowing that she could give them some tender, loving care and help them recover from their trauma with me, while still challenging them to do their best. So when students talked about Bonnie, it was always with respect and affection. Her encouraging spirit lifted them up. She gave them wings. If you talk with her student, Caitlin, who's here with us today, she'd tell you that Bonnie was like a second mother to her. Of course Bonnie's students felt nurtured by her. I'll bet she wrote as much on their papers as they did, and the comments were always an effort to help. I can see her in her office now, going over an essay with one of her students, an image of patience, kindness, encouragement. She was really good at helping people learn to write better and think more clearly. She taught by examples, so her students learned to value learning, other people, and themselves. Maybe that was the secret of her teaching. Indeed, it was true of her interactions with us teachers, with her sisters, and with Rad, and with her friends. She was so encouraging. Wes said you couldn't talk to Bonnie without leaving with a happy heart. I think he's right. She felt free to give affection and encouragement to anyone who cared to talk to her. She was a happy woman, as Wes said, and she shared her joy in life with us all. If you knew Bonnie, then you know what I'm talking about. You can see her face light up with that bright smile of hers. She'd comment on the red of a rose, praise someone's green sweater, or recall a play at the South Coast Repertory. Her conversation was insightful and independent, and it tended to be about what she liked, not about something that fell short of the mark. If Bonnie was anything, she was uplifting. Her students weren't the only ones to whom she gave encouragement. Her fellow teachers, her family, her friends, Rad, could attest to that. I remember one day when I was fairly new at Golden West College, she said to me one time, her brown eyes smiling, "I can always tell your students' writing, Chuck." And then she made some positive comment. Well, as a fairly new teacher here who was somewhat rigorous and not always keeping students in his classes, I felt that support was very helpful. It lifted my spirit. And I'll bet anyone here who knew Bonnie could give a similar story. Robin even credits her with saving his life. He was a heavy smoker when he came here, and Bonnie would badger him to stop. It had no effect. So one day she told him how she had quit the bad habit from her beatnik days. "Don't tell yourself you're going to quit," she said. "Just say you won't touch a cigarette again." Well, Robin took her advice. The next day he decided to try it, and he hasn't smoked since or touched a cigarette. In fact, he's told about 20 people about the Robinson method for quitting smoking. So it looks as though Bonnie is still teaching. Henry Adams was right. We never know how far our influence goes. Now, Bonnie was not perfect. She did not always have a keen sense of time. She could out-talk even me. And Rad told me about his nature walks with Bonnie. On a typical hike, Rad, he's over here for those of you who don't know him, the task-oriented ex-Marine and charge-ahead businessman would be champing at the bit to get on up the trail, while Bonnie would be dallying behind, admiring some wildflower. And her generous heart could be a little scary to a husband. In fact, Rad tells me that fear of financial disaster had him racing home more than once to get to the mail before Bonnie. Since they were on every charity hit list in the country, he just knew there'd be nothing left of the Robinson bank account if he didn't get home in time. Well, it looks as if Bonnie's had the last laugh, Rad. Those columns don't come cheap. But Rad, it's a real tribute to Bonnie that your imagination and love that you show in deciding to dedicate this column to her here near the building where she gave so much of her spirit. Clearly, you saw her. She is on a pillar supporting the building where she worked, and it's a reminder to all of us of the support she gave us. Now, of course, we teachers know that our dedication can spill into our personal life, and Bonnie was no exception. She was always teaching, sometimes when maybe she should have stopped. I'm thinking of the time when Rad was courting Bonnie. Rad composed a love letter so overflowing with enthusiasm that the poor chap wrote she was the beautifulest woman he ever saw. Beautifulest? Well, Rad got his love letter back marked in red. Even I. Bonnie, always the teacher. You know, many conversations with Bonnie would be punctuated with her thoughts about Rad, how he might respond to some event or issue. And of course, they didn't always see eye to eye on issues. But the time she went on a cruise and Rad could not join her, just about everyone on that cruise knew how she missed her Rad. He was never far from her thinking. And this event today is just one reminder of how intensely and gracefully she lives in his thoughts. And Rad, as you know, you're not the only one to carry her in your heart. Yesterday, Robin said, I still think about her several times a week, and I still miss having her here. Amen to that. And Barbara said, we'll not know her like again. But your tribute to her, Rad, can remind us to keep a little of Bonnie's spirit with us, and we are grateful to you for that, just as we are grateful for knowing Bonnie. It's no surprise when an English teacher likes poetry. Bonnie loved poetry, and she wrote some beautiful poems. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one by her, but a poem by Emily Dickinson popped into my head that to me pretty much describes Bonnie. You may know it. I'd like to leave you with this poem in mind. I had no time to hate, because the grave would hinder me, and life was not so ample I could finish enmity. Nor had I time to love, but since some industry must be, the little toil of love, I thought, was large enough for me. That's Bonnie to me. Love says it all. She was filled with it, and as you know, as you who knew her know, she evoked it. So thank you, Rad, for the privilege of helping pay tribute to your incomparable, beautifulest wife.
Thank you, Chuck. Our second pillar of support is the honoring of Dorothy Beatrice Duffy Pillar. The pillar is located in the counseling patio area. Accepting for Dorothy Duffy is her daughter, Chris Duffy.
Good afternoon. I was chosen because I am my mother's favorite daughter. And I wanted to tell you a few things about my mom. The first 25 years of her life, she lived in Canada, and she had an English father and a Canadian mom. She grew up kind of during the Great Depression, and she had to quit school in her high school years to help the family financially. She worked as a maid, and she worked as a factory worker, and also worked in a department store. In 1945, she and my father, Walter, with my oldest brother, came to California. And shortly after that, I kind of became familiar with my mom. See, I was born in 1947. And there's a couple of things that I do remember about her. She was a mother. She still is alive. I don't want you to think that she's not alive. She's in Ashland at this point. She goes up there for the theater, and but at this time she was a mother of 3 energetic kids, 2 boys and a girl. And her first career was a mother and a housewife, which was definitely a full-time task. My dad was then at sea working on a fish and game what kind of a research vessel. And it was a job that he was away a lot. So my mom really had a job and a half in the 50s. Of course, that time she didn't really have a washer and a dryer and no microwave, and the market was like 7 miles away, which I doubt if any of us have that problem these days. She wasn't a soccer mom, but she was definitely very, very busy. Her education began when she enrolled in citizenship classes. And after that, she decided that she would continue her education, and she obtained her high school diploma. Eventually, she went to Long Beach City College and then Long Beach State, and received her diploma and also her BA and teaching credential. She taught high school for 20 years and retired. The rest of this will be kind of her words, and it's kind of explain the scholarship and also some of her feelings when she first started going to college. She says, adult students know the humbling experience of being in class with younger, seemingly brighter and more modern thinking students. It is easy to be faint-hearted. It was at such a point of self-doubt that I was awarded a scholarship to help me along in my first 2 college years. I had not applied for this help. Total strangers had selected me from many others. There were no more thoughts of dropping out at that time. They gave me the needed wind beneath my wings. I will never stop being grateful. Now it is my time to lift someone. I thank Golden West for helping me reach a new generation of students. My good wishes follow to all of them. What I wanted to tell you about is how she came up with the name of the scholarship Encore, and this is also her words. This scholarship is intended to support students who are back in school preparing for a second career. I have done this myself. My first career was with the house and mother. The term homemaker came into vogue after World War II, when Mom was encouraged to stay home and take care of the kids. It was a great job, lots of time off, as household machines made work easier. And when she spoke of that, I think she spoke about having the ringing washing machine. She had nice neighbors, and she had good friends. So let's see. The purpose of this scholarship is to give financial and professional help to students who want to or need to make a change in their vocation, profession, or lifestyle, as she had done, changing from a mom and a housewife to a high school teacher for 20 years. The word encore, the dictionary says, is repetition of or additional act to a previous act. The first act usually is the performer's forte or greatest accomplishment, such as piano concerto of great difficulty. The encore would be different and easier, a set piece to be used as an encore. And thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope that in the future a lot of students will appreciate my mother's help and generosity.
You know, it is the richness of a community college classroom and it's the distinctive difference between a community college and a university in so many ways, is to walk into a classroom and see the diversity of students in gender, in age, in ethnicity, and in ambition, not just always transfer-oriented, but redoing a career. It's the gift of what we are and the heart of what we do. So thank you. Our third pillar of support honors Elmore Toyota. The Elmore Toyota pillar is in front of the bookstore. Accepting for Elmore Toyota is our foundation president and president of Elmore Toyota, Judy Elmore. Judy?
My goodness, so many offices for me to fill. Thank you. I just love Golden West College. I come here and I just see wonderful things. I see people of all ages furthering their education, learning a new trade, doing something of interest. participating in an atmosphere that I consider just remarkable. And my son, believe it or not, went to Golden West College and he majored in football. And my other son actually went to Golden West College, so I have really strong feelings about the school. And I really am deeply appreciative that they've allowed me to participate in some of the fundraising for the school. It means a lot to me. In 1966, Elmore Toyota and Golden West College came to be. And I just thought that was very interesting that we both shared that date. My father was a man with very little education, but he had a great sense of daring and adventure. He really had very few skills, and he was married to a woman who said, "You better get out there and support this family." And so we have an automobile dealership because of that today. And the county has just changed dramatically since we moved here in 1955 and since we opened our business in 1966. And the diversity has just been profound. And it means a lot for us to be a part of it. And I hope that we can continue to be a part of Golden West, and that the community will support us in the way that it has, and that we can continue to support the community and the college. Thank you.
I'm so surprised you didn't talk about your granddaughter. I mean, I met her on Saturday. Yeah, son. Yes. Oh, wonderful. The final pillar honors Union Bank of California. The Union Bank pillar is located in the front of the bookstore. Accepting for Union Bank is Tito Ibarola. Did I get it? I practiced it of pronouncing it a different way, and then Janet said, well, you know, I got it wrong, so now I got it right. Okay. Thank you for your generous support. And now I'd like to introduce, are you going to come up and say, come? Yeah, that's it. Tito.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. On behalf of Union Bank of California, we'd like to thank Golden West College for this recognition as your banking partner. If I seem tired, I'm actually jet lagged. I just returned from the Philippines, having to move my parents to their hometown, retiring. So I'm usually better dealing with my clients one-on-one, and this is actually the first time that I'm speaking to a handful of people. So actually, my name is Tito Ibarola, and I'm Vice President and Relationship Manager for the College and University Market for the Government Services and Not-for-Profit Markets Division at GWC. Was that a handful or not? I am pleased to be joined here this afternoon with my colleagues, Rosalind Sherrill, who is also in Government Services, and Elizabeth Bowling, who is the Huntington Beach Branch Manager. Please come see her, and I'm sure she and her staff will provide you wonderful service as well. Okay, just to provide you a quick glance of who we are and what we do. We are basically part of the government services arena at Union Bank of California. We provide services to the federal government with the Native Americans and U.S. Postal Services, state and local agencies, including higher education. We continue to hire actually banking professionals in the industry we serve. I, for one, came from higher education as a university administrator for over 14 years. So we know particularly what you, Golden West College, face and the issues that are important to you. So we try to provide and deliver banking products that will be helpful to your students. So you, as the college, can concentrate on more important things like educating our future, which are your students. As some of you might know, Union Bank of California has been a partner of Golden West since 1993. We take great pride in the wonderful relationship we have cultivated and developed throughout the years. We are very committed in maintaining the highest level of customer service, not only providing the latest technology that you require, but we'd also like to participate in the scholarship fundraising as the Golden West Gala. And we're thrilled to do it every year since I've joined the bank, and we hope to continue to keep doing it as long, and even with the whole government services. Just lastly is, I would like to thank our UBOC Foundation, which is the gift-giving part of Union Bank of California, for their continued support and for ensuring the limited of funds we have that they set aside to education, so we are able to participate in events such as this. We are being recognized here today because of their support, and we certainly and we very much appreciate this recognition. Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to introduce Janet Houlihan, Vice President of Administrative Services.
Thank you, Wes. This afternoon, we are honored to recognize 3 Golden Society donors. The Golden Society represents gifts from $10,000 to $24,999. Please stand when your name or organization is called. The California Retired Teachers Association, Harbor Beach Division 77. Is anybody here? Please join me in giving them a round of applause anyway. We'd also like to honor Anthony and Leah Shea, Home Loan Center Incorporated. And if you're here, stand. No? And also we'd like to honor Harold Pizzanti and Michelle Pizzanti Ruth with Pizzanti Home Mortgage Corporation. Please stand. Thank you very much. We thank each of you for all of your continuing support. This year, the donor wall has more than 50 new names. These are supporters who are new to Golden West or have moved to higher categories. After this ceremony, if it's not pouring rain outside, we invite you to take a look at the donor wall in the Courtyard of Honor, in the Circle of Donors. Now I would like to introduce Ron Lowenberg, our Associate Dean of the Criminal Justice Training Center. Ron?
Thank you, Janet. This year we have 5 that we're going to honor for the Alumni Pillar of Achievement. To be considered a candidate for the Alumni Pillar of Achievement Award, you must have completed or taken at least 30 units here at Golden West College. These units have been earned at a minimum of 10 years ago. And the candidate must have obtained notable achievement and recognition for his or her field of endeavor. In addition to my short introduction for each of these recipients, I would invite you to examine more closely your program that has detailed information about each of these outstanding alumni. Our first alumni, nominated by Wayne Olson, Dean of Technology and Vocational Education, is Ron Catt. Ron is the owner and of a successful business here in Huntington Beach, Ron Catt Automotive Incorporated. Ron, would you please come forward?
It is a great honor and privilege to be recognized for this award today. During high school, I worked at a service station, pumping gas and helping the mechanics, as they were referred to back then. Today they're called technicians, but back then we referred to them as mechanics. I soon realized how much I enjoyed the automotive service business, and I had an attitude, a very strong attitude, that I could do this and I could do it well. So I quickly saw the need for education. I immediately turned to Golden West College for that education. From 79 to 81, I took every automotive course available. Also during this time, I became an ASC Double Master Automotive and Heavy Duty Truck Technician, and I passed my state smog, brake, and lamp certifications. At this time, I also decided to start my own business. With my newfound knowledge, there was no looking back, and my business took off. As an employer, I found that technicians that have attended college and continue to attend college and classes and seminars are always far superior to the technicians that are not as motivated to continue their education. Self-motivation is essential for any type of success. An individual that seeks knowledge and education will almost always succeed and prosper. Over the past 25 years, I've seen the automotive industry become increasingly complex. With multiple onboard engine and body computers, it has become necessary to have college-level training to become effective in diagnosis and repair of today's vehicles. Many can claim to know how to repair these vehicles, but it takes a skilled technician to accurately diagnose and repair them. Without the proper knowledge and training, one cannot hope to perform satisfactorily in this industry. Today, I'd like to give a special thank you to Roger McGordon. Roger was one of my instructors here at the college and a mentor. Roger was instrumental in my education and future success. He was one of those instructors who could deliver the information and make it real easy to understand. Even today, I will solve a vehicle problem and think to myself, Roger taught me that. Because of the education I received here at Golden West College, I have succeeded in my business. I recently have started another company, and I realize that even years later, I've continued to use the knowledge and experience I received while attending Golden West College in many different ways. The education I received here has been invaluable. So to all of you and anyone else who's been involved with my accomplishments and the education process as a whole, I personally extend to you my sincere appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Our next alumni, nominated by Lucy Horner, a Golden West College patron, is Dr. David Chipman. Dr. Chipman has a successful chiropractic business here in town, and I do have to say, from a personal note, he's a great model at the Patrons Fashion Show also. So, David.
Terrible as you get older, you got to make sure the bifocals focus all in here. All right, start off with my little speech here. Good day to my family, friends, fellow alumni, and honored guests. It is with great pride and humbleness that I stand before you today to accept this Alumni Pillar of Achievement recognition. How do I come about to coming to this college, Golden West? Well, it first began on a long journey many years ago across the Pacific Ocean on a small naval station in southern Japan. My father was a sailor of Scotch-Irish descent, and my mother a young Japanese local, which, by the way, led to a weird craving for corned beef sushi and green sake. Anyhow, Mom faced many challenges raising me since Dad was stationed at sea for many months at a time, and then he died abruptly before my 10th birthday. Since the early days as a toddler, progressing up to my late teens, I was the Dennis the Menace child from H, you know where. My achievements, my mischievousness either resulted in personal physical trauma, complaints from the neighbors, or episodes with the law. Well, halfway through those rebellious years in the summer of 1968, Mom moved the family from Long Beach to Huntington Beach. A lot was going on here. Everything was being built. The college was 2 years old. The Huntington Center was brand new. It was one of the largest enclosed malls in west of the Mississippi, which was very fortunate for me since I got into many scrapes crossing into the wrong neighborhoods when I was growing up. It was just a matter of time before I would become a statistic. I had already been robbed at knife point when making collections for my newspaper route. After crossing over the orange curtain into Huntington Beach, the prior owner gave our family a tour of the community. The first stop was the elementary school where my 3 sisters would be going. Then the junior high for me. Next was Marina High, where all of us would eventually attend. Our final stop was here at Golden West. What an awesome sight for a preteen. I'd never been on a college campus, thus it was a spectacle to behold. The huge buildings and the massive columns reminded me of ancient Greece, which was the center of knowledge and education in its day. That is when I informed my mother that one day I would attend this college. It was 6 years later that I first enrolled here as a pre-dental major. That first year was both exhilarating and heartbreaking. Although I did well in my biological sciences, and I had still some great professors like Peter Green that I still see on occasion and was friends with him when he was mayor here. Chemistry classes were another matter altogether. On my 3rd attempt at Bonehead Chem, which is your basic 100, I received a D on my midterm. I was so devastated that I dropped out of college, quit my job, moved to Colorado to become a ski bum for the season to escape my personal failures and responsibilities. I had a house at 19 and I already rented it out to somebody else to pay my mortgage bills. Yeah, that was good. Upon my return the following year, I was revitalized and ready to start fresh. I re-enrolled to fulfill a promise I made to myself to be the first in our family to obtain a college degree. Over the next few years, the primary focus of my courses were in the humanities, psychology, English, and athletics. I never knew what my major was, I just did things. Yet I also took the time to enjoy the other activities the college had to offer that I didn't utilize before. I joined the ski club, and I got to travel to several wonderful resorts in the United States and Canada. There was even one guy I met later on through a gal I met in the ski club, which was his sister. Him and I still plan annual ski trips around the world, and he also became the best man at my wedding. On a few occasions, I even watched the Rustler football team in action, although I did prefer beer and pizza with friends at the Straw Hat on Monday nights. Whenever a campus club hosted a dance, I would go in and check it out to see if it was something I could enjoy. There was even a time I won first place dancing the Latin Hustle from a teacher I took here at Golden West. These classes and activities would lay down the foundation for which I would later pursue my career, path, and destiny. Even though most of my mental facilities were okay, some of my physical portions still needed serious help. During my juvenile years and later in my early ski days, I had acquired many injuries of varying degrees. The short version of the major traumas included dislocated shoulder, 3 head concussions, 2 neck and 1 mid-back compression fracture. Due to engagements with large appliances, the lady was talking about the wringer washer, it ate me one day. Crashing bicycles before there were BMX bikes. Dune buggies rolling, trucks crashing, slamming into trees, and flying off cliffs without a parachute. I hurt all over really bad. Like a cat with 9 lives, I used up 8 of them, so I have to take care of the one I have left. And how does all this relate to Golden West? Well, I believe it was about 2 years after I graduated that I met my first chiropractor. He kind of patched me back up, and it was in his opinion that with all the premature osteoarthritis I had developed in my body and the chronic headaches and nerve pain and weaknesses that I should go back to school and become one if I wished to continue having an active life. He then mentioned that a colleague of his was giving a career lecture here at Golden West College and that I should attend. Afterwards, listening to him, it built my spirit back up to go back to school again for a 3rd time. Afterwards, with my Golden West transcripts in hand and the financial support of my mother, I was accepted for enrollment the following spring. There was one condition though, I still needed my 2 years of chemistry, and this time at an upper level division. So, I was not afraid. You see, this was part of my destiny. I had to think positively. The initials for my name David Chipman, DC, also represents Doctor of Chiropractic. Therefore, with renewed confidence, I enrolled into an accelerated program at Cal State Fullerton and then ate, breathed, and slept chemistry for 1 year and maintained a B average. Now, 25 years later, after graduating from Golden West, I have returned to this campus 3 years ago and have become a member of the Golden West Patrons. I have volunteered my time and donated services to help raise scholarships for others who wish to have Golden West a part of their foundation, the cornerstone to a new life. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Our next alumni was nominated by the Criminal Justice Training Center. It is the City of Westminster's Chief of Police, Andrew Hall. Andy? Excuse me, Chief Hall.
Thank you, Chief. Well, I want to thank you for coming here in the rain to be at this ceremony today. It's actually very humbling to see so many people here. And I also want to thank the foundation for taking the time to recognize alumni of Golden West College. My story is kind of a short one. My experience at Golden West College was a life-changing one. When I came to the police academy here, I never thought I'd be able to complete it. It was overwhelming. I'd never been put under such a mental and physical demand in my life. And I remember thinking, everybody in the room is smarter than me, and they're faster than me, and I won't be able to finish it. But there were instructors, and there were resources here, and everybody was telling me, you can do it, Andy, stay in there. And doggone it, sure enough, I got to the other side, and I completed the police academy. And that's been the formula for my life ever since. When I went to graduate school, and later on when I went to law school, it seemed like every time I started something, I began by thinking, oh boy, this time I finally bit off more than I can chew. This time I'm not going to be able to see it through to the other side. And there's always been people there saying, you can do it, Andy, we believe in you, and we have whatever resources you need to succeed. I'm reminded of a quote from Albert Einstein where he said, it's not that I'm so smart, I just don't let go of the problem. And I kind of feel that way. I just stay with the problem. And sooner or later, I get through okay on the other side. And Golden West College really taught me an important life lesson, and it's just worked for me ever since. So very humbly, I do thank you for being here and supporting us, and I look forward to continuing to have a close association with the college. I send my recruits down here because of the experience I got. I hope that all of my recruits have the same experience. So, and I know they do. I know they do. We get fine recruits from Golden West College. So thank you very much.
Our next alumni was nominated by Mary Crook, Director of Nursing and Health Science at Santa Ana College. This person is Rosemary Hirsch. Rosemary is the administrator at Western Medical Center in the city of Santa Ana. Rosemary?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rosemary Hirsch, and I am currently the Assistant Director of Nursing at Santa Ana College and have been with a nursing professor at Santa Ana College for 8 years now, and I'm really happy to be back on Golden West campus. I come and visit the nursing faculty and the students here quite often, and it's fun to be here again in another honor for today. I want to thank Golden West College and the foundation for this exciting award. I was surprised and honored at the acknowledgement of all the things that I've done in my nursing career at this point in time, and I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't that I had been a student here at Golden West College, I'll say in the late 70s, although it was really the mid-70s. The registered nursing program here was a strong foundation for my educational and professional and personal life. Let me share with you just a few examples of the impact that this strong foundation has made since I've graduated here from Golden West College. Educationally, my goodness, the rigorous program, nursing program that I hear at Golden West certainly, without a doubt, prepared me for my bachelor's degree from Cal State Fullerton in nursing and my master's degree in nursing from the University of California at Los Angeles. That is like a no-brainer because it truly is a wonderful program here at Golden West. For the nursing program really prepares people for the future. The most important part, I think, that I took away from Golden West was how it prepared me professionally for my professional life as a nurse. Interestingly enough, I was here when joining a club on campus wasn't such a wonderful thing. It was in the 70s, and really students weren't trying to participate very much at that degree in the community college activities. They were really doing some other kind of political kinds of things. But I was involved with the Student Nurses Association here on campus. And Golden West prepared me, planted those seeds of professionalism, and nurtured them while I was here. I was involved in going to conventions as a student nurse in San Francisco and in San Diego, and traveled really the state as a student nurse, promoting Golden West College and also nursing at that time. I was involved in the pinning ceremony and a lot of the activities that were going on, and planned a lot of picnics and things for families and student nurses. And my husband and I were laughing this morning because it seemed like every time I planned something for our student nurses activity, it rained. So we thought it was apropos that the weather came up to the challenge today. Oh, we remember driving around parks with spaghetti, eating spaghetti in our car looking for everybody because it was pouring cats and dogs and nobody was outside. Interestingly enough, I was employed by a professional nursing organization, the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, and my whole professional life always looked back as being involved in the Student Nurses Association here on Golden West College. And interestingly enough, I am the faculty advisor, one of the faculty advisors for the Student Nurses Association at Santa Ana College. So it's pretty interesting that it all started here at Golden West. Personally, I've made a lot of friends with the faculty and the students here at Golden West. They've become a lot of my lifelong friends. And I still have and am gaining lots of new friends with the students here at Golden West College, as well as the faculty have become some very close friends of mine. And we continue to do a lot of things together. And I just wanted to let you know that becoming a graduate at Golden West College and becoming a registered nurse not only has touched my life here, as a graduate of Golden West, but also all of the patients and the students' lives that I've touched. Thank you.
Our last alumni is nominated by Russ Terry, a counselor here at Golden West College. This alumni is Yvette Ursigi. She is a Los Angeles County alternate public defender. Yvette was a graduate speaker last year for our graduation here at Golden West College, and it certainly is an honor and a pleasure to see you back, Yvette. Please.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Yvette Verastigi. This is such a wonderful honor for all of us here today. Golden West College is an exceptional institution that embodies excellence in education. I would like to thank Golden West College for providing me with the finest education available. I can't tell you the invaluable service Golden West provided me and countless others through their outstanding commitment to students. As many of you may know from my last speech, I was in foster care until the age of 18. After graduating from high school, I was not prepared to go to a university. That's not to say that I was not academically prepared, as I received A's in high school. I was not prepared to go to a university in that I did not have the necessary guidance or tools to navigate unfamiliar territory. I was not financially prepared to attend a university. I lacked the financial resources and was completely unaware of the financial aid available to me at that time. So in essence, Golden West College was my educational salvation. At Golden West, I was assisted with the application process for financial aid. At Golden West, I was assisted by the best counselors. At Golden West, I was taught by professors who engaged me intellectually and challenged me academically. Professor Massey, who taught U.S. history, was an amazing teacher who was able to describe history in the most vivid and imaginative ways. If he were a painter, I imagine that he would be an impressionist, as he gave life and color to a time so long ago. Professor Grimes, who I affectionately call Jesus because of the some of you who know him know why. Because of the sandals he wore and the religious following he inspired by many of his students, was one of my more difficult professors. He taught philosophy using the Socratic method, a method which proved very helpful for me in law school. I enjoyed his class so much because he pushed each and every student to think for themselves. Professor Lopez Rodriguez, who taught Spanish and Chicano history, encouraged his students to become involved in and outside the classroom. In fact, my first introduction to Golden West College came through an event intended to encourage students to apply to college. This event was sponsored by Chicano students and led by Professor Lopez Rodriguez. Later, when I was a student at Golden West, I participated in outreach efforts led by Professor Lopez Rodriguez again. He instilled in students the concept that we have an obligation and responsibility to others to pave the way. It was a very valuable lesson, one of which I've carried throughout my whole life. I only name a few professors, however, each and every one that I had was remarkable. I'm going to digress for a moment, but I promise I'll bring it back full circle. I am the beneficiary of affirmative action. After graduating from UC Irvine, I was fortunate enough to be accepted to UC Berkeley Bolt Hall School of Law. It is one of the nation's top 10 universities for law. I certainly had the grades to get in. At Golden West and at UCI, I consistently received A's in the most difficult of classes. My LSAT score, however, was lacking. Based on my LSAT score alone, I should not have been admitted into law school. I should never have gotten into UC Berkeley. After all, one test on any one given day determines whether or not you will succeed in law school. It is supposed to be a predictor as to whether or not you will pass the California State Bar exam. One single test, such as the SAT, GRE, or LSAT, should never be the sole determinant of one's station in life. Luckily for me, UC Berkeley agreed with my philosophy and looked beyond my LSAT score. Instead, UC Berkeley looked at the grades that I received, the classes that I took, and gave me the opportunity to compete with the best. While at UC Berkeley, my classmates were from Harvard, Yale, MIT. All of the Ivy Leagues were well represented. Even though I was admitted under the now non-existent affirmative action admissions policy, I received high honors and also received a Prosser Award in law. I say with pride that I'm a product of affirmative action. There is no shame in the fact that I benefited from affirmative action. Affirmative action provides opportunity and access to qualified individuals. It is by no means a free ride. I still had to write all of the papers. I still had to take all of the exams. And of course, I had to pass the California State Bar exam. I also say with pride that I am a product of Golden West's excellence in education. Although I benefited from affirmative action in order to get into UC Berkeley, I was able to excel because of the education I received at Golden West College. I attribute much of my academic success at UC Irvine and at UC Berkeley to the solid educational foundation that Golden West provided me and countless others. And for that, I thank Golden West. Now more than ever, community college is so critical to students like myself. A community college education is a great equalizer. Community college offers access and opportunity to all students, providing the most valuable asset that one can possess, an education. Golden West has time and time again fulfilled that commitment to students by providing a superior education for all. Each student attending Golden West succeeds because they are fortunate enough to be taught by some of the most gifted and talented faculty. Each person associated with Golden West should take some measure of credit for the success of each student, each person that they have touched. Once again, on behalf of myself and all those that came before and after me, thank you, Golden West.
Thank you, Yvette. I don't know about you folks, but with all the negative media that we are bombarded with daily, I think today demonstrates, and hearing all these stories, especially these Pillar of Achievement Award winners, it kind of renews your faith in humanity. So thank you to all of you recipients and all of the people that support our programs here at Golden West. I'm a relatively new addition to the faculty and staff here at Golden West College, and being a former recipient of the Pillar of Achievement Award, I too am a product of Golden West College, and I'm very proud of that. So one more time, a round of applause for our 5 recipients. And if I could have all 5 recipients please come forward. Sharon Dunoff, our interim president, will now inaugurate you into the 2004 Pillar of Achievement.
Rosemary, no. I can remember your names. Ron? Andrew? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, open them up. Well, we have here indeed 5 distinguished alumni. While I was sitting here listening to them, I think it's important for us to take a moment out to honor and acknowledge the dedication of our students, and that's really the purpose today. While they're opening their plaques too, I'd like to call forward one more time our other honorees. Judy, please come forward. And Rad Robinson, is Rad, are you still here? Come forward, please. Tito, Harold and Rochelle, please come forward. You know, what you see here in front of you, thank you. I'm I don't know where my mind is here. What you see here in front of you is service, generosity, dedication, leadership. I think it's put it all in a ball, and what you have is stewardship in the very best example. And Golden West College is sunny today because of the stewardship of all of these people through their commitments and dedication to education, to community colleges, to our communities, and really to California. And we thank you all very much. We wish our alumni the best of luck in their careers and professions, and our donors and contributors, we hope you have a long-standing partnership with us at Golden West College. Thank you all. And everyone, will you please join us at a ceremony, a reception after this in the Community Services building, and we'll lead you over there. Thank you all for coming.
That's one of those accidents I had. Crashed my mom. 6 months old. Toyota.